Today I will be discussing my classroom management plan. I will talk about what my classroom will look like. It is my mission to create a classroom environment that promotes kindness and acceptance. I want every one of my students to feel validated, a sense of belonging, and a sense of safety. In order to create this ideal environment, I will encourage my students to work together and treat each other with the utmost respect. I will model kind behaviors and coach my students on how to communicate with each other respectfully. I will embrace an assertive teaching style in my classroom. My main focus will be holding my students to attainable high standards and showing them that I truly care about them and their success. I want to motivate them to do their best because I know that they can. I hope that my relationship with my students is one of comfort and trust. They should feel like they can participate and ask questions without fear of failure or embarrassment. In the classroom, time is our most valuable tool. My plan is to use every available moment to its fullest potential. I will embrace the ideas and advice that I get from other teachers and my principal in order to create my desired classroom environment. In order to hold an orderly classroom, I plan to assign my students class jobs and to form smooth routines for day-to-day transitions. It is my hope that my students will embrace their responsibilities in the classroom and become more independent individuals. My plan starts with a contract. As for my part as teacher, I promise to always be prepared to teach to the best of my ability. I will always make sure we have the resources that we need and always be ready to answer questions. I will treat each and every one of my students and their parents with respect. I will communicate progress and achievement as often as possible and provide a safe and comfortable learning environment. I will use time as efficiently as possible and enforce the rules fairly and consistently. I will make learning fun as often as I can and always be positive and professional. I will ask my students' parents to promise to respect the rules of the school and myself, to attend parent-teacher conferences and stay informed by reading notes and the newsletters sent home. I will ask them to always discuss the day's events with their child and monitor their child's homework and make sure that they have adequate time and space. I will ask my students to promise to do their best work, to always be prepared for class, and to always treat their fellow classmates with respect and kindness. I will ask them to obey the rules and be responsible and make good choices. I will ask them to always share what they have learned with their parents. Routines and procedures are a big part of day-to-day activities. Here are a few that I will discuss. First, entering the classroom. After being greeted at the door by me, students will enter the classroom quietly, turn in their work at my desk, put their backpacks in their cubbyholes, and go to the carpet. Next, turning in papers. There will be a bin for students to turn in finished work as they finish them during center. As for lining up, at the beginning of the year there will be tape and each student's name on it lined to the door in alphabetical order. Once the students learn the order, this will become a routine. Students will line up in this order, but at my say, the line leader will move to the front and the caboose will move to the back. This will also become routine so that I will no longer have to direct it. As far as walking in line, students will walk in line quietly without touching each other or their surroundings. Cell phones will not be allowed in the classroom. I will check attendance at breakfast. I will fill out the hot lunch form, and as I ask students whether they have brought their own lunch or are choosing a lunch option, I am in turn tracking who is present. Here are our class rules. In my classroom, we will follow directions. We will treat others the way we want to be treated. We will respect school and personal property. We will help each other and do our best. And we will always stay safe. These rules will create a productive and safe classroom environment. There will be consequences to breaking the rules. If a student is following the rules, I will praise them. This will show the students what they can accomplish by following the rules. If they are not following the rules, they may get a timeout to consider how the student broke the rule and what responsible behavior they should have chosen. If there is a way for the student to correct his or her mistake, I will ask them to apologize or clean up the mess or any other thing that can help them take responsibility for their actions. I will consider a loss of privilege if the privilege is relevant to the broken rule. For example, if a student is misusing markers, I will take away the markers. If a student continues to misbehave, I will have a meeting with the student's parents and the principal. Here are a few signals I will use in my classroom. Chants. I love chants. I would use chants such as, hocus pocus, it's time to focus. I would say the hocus pocus part, and then the students would in tune say that it's time to focus. There are many chants that can be used to catch the attention of students. I will also use claps. A series of claps can work in the same way that the chants do. As a teacher, I would start a series of learned claps, and the students would finish them. Whispering. If I lower my voice, the students have to lower their own in order to hear me, so it is a good way to catch their attention. Praise. I will praise a student for doing the right thing loud enough for other students to hear me so that they will realize if they are doing the wrong thing that they should change their behavior. I will vary these attention signals so that they don't get boring. In order for these signals to work, the students have to want to do them. If they decide they don't want to finish the chant or clap sequence, the signal will be useless. If I mix it up, the students will still find it entertaining. And quiet-only settings provide a challenge. I couldn't use chants or claps in these settings, but I do believe the whispering and praise could work. I would discuss the way one should behave in these settings before entering into them. If I praise someone for acting the way we discussed, those that are not acting right will remember the past discussion. The best way to lead in these situations is by example. If I use an inside voice, behave professionally, and praise those that are doing the same, the students will notice and do the same. Conscious discipline. Conscious discipline is a classroom management program that allows social and emotional growth in the classroom. It uses everyday life events to teach children how to handle their emotions, how to solve problems, and how to behave responsibly. It is important to a child's development that they mature socially and emotionally as well as academically. So, how will I implement conscious discipline in my classroom? First, I will allow the students to help me in stating the class rules. If they have a say in the rules, they will be more inclined to follow them because they will understand them. Second, I will teach my students to understand and manage their emotions instead of acting up and creating disruptions. Third, I will teach my students boundaries so that they learn to respect the space of others. Lastly, I will teach my students to solve problems in appropriate ways that strengthen relationships instead of hurting them. The classroom is a place for students to learn how to grow emotionally and socially as well as accomplish academic success.